Man, listen. When you sit down and really think about how faith has shaped humanity, and then you compare it to where we are now in the 21st century, it's crazy because you start realizing something important. Religion isn't some old thing that people held onto because they were scared of the unknown. It's not just a relic from ancient times. It's something that keeps changing, keeps adapting, and still guides the way people understand life and the future. And one major part of this whole conversation, something people don't talk about enough in the mainstream, is Islam, how it influences the future of global faith. I was talking with Mel Gibson about this because Mel's a guy who has seen faith, struggle, spirituality, and controversy close up. He has been through storms. He knows what it feels like when the media shapes your image. And he has spent years thinking about God, morality, truth, and redemption. So when you take someone like that and talk to him about Islam, you get some honest, real insights. Because Islam, whether people want to admit it or not, is a massive force in shaping where humanity is moving spiritually, culturally, and even philosophically. And I think people in the West often misunderstand it. They put it all together with stereotypes, headlines, and fear-based stories. But if you actually sit with it, read about it, talk to Muslims, talk to scholars, watch how it's practiced in daily life, you start realizing something different. It isn't just a religion with rules and rituals. It's a complete worldview, seeing life as one big test, a short journey, preparation for something greater. And when you live inside that mindset, it changes how you see everything: life, death, morality, technology, your environment, all of it. And Mel told me something powerful. He said, "Joe, people don't understand how much of a stabilizing force Islam actually is for millions. In a world drowning in confusion, material addiction, depression, anxiety, and meaninglessness, Islam offers structure, discipline, and this deep-rooted belief that life has purpose. Life has meaning. Life is sacred." And if you zoom out and think about the future, with AI exploding, biotechnology taking over, humans playing God in labs, Islam might actually be the anchor that keeps millions of people grounded, because it says, slow down, remember your creator, remember morality, remember that just because you can do something doesn't automatically mean you should. And that's huge. That matters. Because right now, much of the world is pushing forward with unlimited speed, no brakes, no thought, no consequences. But Islam brings in the idea of accountability, judgment, standing in front of God for what you did in this life. And honestly, that's powerful. Because when you remove accountability, when you erase the idea that you answer to something higher than yourself, people end up doing whatever they want, and usually what they want is harmful, greedy, selfish, or short-term. But when God is part of the picture, everything changes. Suddenly you see discipline, family values, charity, humility, and responsibility. Mel agreed with that immediately. He said, "Joe, that's the whole point. We're living in a culture that mocks faith, mocks limits, mocks discipline, and worships excess. And then we wonder why people are empty, addicted, depressed, isolated, lost." And he pointed out something interesting: Islam is one of the last major belief systems that hasn't been swallowed by modern chaos. It has held on to its identity. And maybe that is exactly why it might play a huge role in the future of faith. Because if you look at the Muslim world, of course, there are political issues and conflicts, like everywhere. But inside homes, inside mosques, inside communities, people still pray 5 times a day, still fast, still give charity, still live with God at the center. That's rare today. Very rare. And maybe that level of discipline and clarity is exactly what the future needs. Because let's be real, the future is not just robots and flying cars. It's big questions. What happens when AI starts making moral choices? What happens when scientists create life in tubes? What happens when humans merge with machines? Who makes the rules for that? Most secular systems have no answer. They just push forward. But Islam and other faiths ask a different question. Is it moral? Is it allowed by God? And that's a strong filter, a protective boundary for humanity. Mel was especially fascinated by how much Islam shares with Christianity the belief in one God, the prophets, the moral code, family structure, modesty, discipline, and the rejection of modern excess. And he said something that surprised me. Joe, people don't realize that if Christianity collapses in the West, which is happening, Islam might be the last stronghold of faith left standing. That's a big statement. But he's right. Because Mel isn't like every other Hollywood guy. He's been through struggles. He's seen darkness. And when he looks at Islam, he sees strength, faith that survived time, pressure, and corruption. And when you really think about that, you realize Islam isn't just shaping the future of Muslims. It might shape the future of everyone. Because if people watch Islam stay strong while everything else cracks, that becomes a wake-up call. People will reevaluate their values, their identity, their purpose. I think we're entering a world where Islam becomes a central part of global conversation, not hidden, not ignored, but something people openly talk about when discussing meaning, morality, family, life, and the future. And if that happens, it will shift human consciousness in a huge way. One of the most surprising things is how Islam doesn't exist on the sidelines. It's woven into global culture, economics, science, and politics. Muslims are everywhere: doctors, engineers, creators, journalists, scientists, tech workers. They're part of the global story. And because of that, Islamic values naturally spread into different fields. Mel made a point that stuck with me. Joe, look at the numbers. Look at the birth rates. Look at how the West is shrinking while Muslim families continue. That matters. That's how cultures survive. That's how values pass on. And if you look at the big picture, Islam might become one of the strongest religions in the coming future, not because it's being forced, but because it's one of the only belief systems strong enough to survive modernity. The West is confused. People don't know what they believe. Identities shift every day. People chase dopamine and material success like it's their purpose. Meanwhile, Muslims bow 5 times a day, fast for a month every year, give charity, stay connected to community, stay connected to God. And that kind of discipline is rare. People crave it deep inside. People want structure, they want meaning, they want something bigger than themselves. Islam provides that. Simple, clear, direct. Worship God, follow the Prophet, live morally, prepare for the afterlife. No overthinking, no complicated philosophies. And as life gets more confusing with AI writing scripts, deepfakes making truth blurry, algorithms hijacking your mind, that clarity becomes priceless. And Mel agreed. He said Islam is like a spiritual immune system in a world full of poison, greed, lust, addiction, ego, excess. Islam says, pause, purify, fast, pray, stay humble, remember who created you. And that is how the soul stays healthy. That is how people stay centered. And in the future, when anxiety, depression, loneliness, and fear rise even more, people will look for something strong to hold onto. And Islam has that strength. It doesn't break under pressure. It adapts but never loses itself. And that's why the influence of Islam will keep growing. Because it doesn't disappear when the world gets chaotic. It stays strong. It stays clear. And when people get tired of confusion, tired of emptiness, tired of chasing things that don't fulfill them, they look for something real, something grounded, something ancient and proven. And Islam has been standing for 1,400 years through wars, empires, revolutions, modernity, technology, and it's still here, still growing. Mel reminded me that Islam spread through beauty, justice, truth, and spirituality, not through force. People saw something pure in it, and they wanted it. That's why it grew, and that's why it will keep growing. And now, as the world hungers for meaning, Islam will step into the spotlight again, not as something foreign, but as a major voice guiding humanity's future. And when that happens, it will reshape culture, politics, morals, and technology. Because strong faith always shapes the world around it, and Islam is one of the strongest and clearest forms of faith ever seen. Thank you for watching all the way through. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit the like button and share your thoughts below. Subscribe and turn on alerts so you don't miss upcoming updates. See you soon in the next one.